I am William Dachris and I am the Grecian Purveyor, Australia's purveyor of finest Greek foods. I chose Cassiopeia to share with all of you today because of a few reasons. First, it originates from Epirus, which is where I come from. Epirus is a region in Greece that is well known for its pies. So we make a pie for pretty much everything, really. Most people are quite apprehensive of making pies, especially Greek pies, because it takes a lot of time to roll the phyllo, and just generally speaking, Greek pies do take a long time. So I wanted to share a pie that it was easy and quick and simple for everybody to make. Cassiopeia really reminds me of being at home and reminds me of my mum. Every time we had unexpected guests, my mum quickly will put this together because it has only 3 simple ingredients. Mainly it's feta, good olive oil and flour. When you have 3 simple ingredients, it's really quick to put that pie together and share it with whoever your guests are. My dad worked at Dodoni and he learned how to make cheeses. So we always had really good quality feta at home, so it was an easy pie to make. Pies reminds me of the philoxenia or the hospitality of the Greek people. So it's something I really wanted to share and showcase that hospitality. And Epirus people are really hospitable, and they're really, what I would say, perhaps the epitome of hospitality within Greece. I was born in the historical village of Kalpaki in Ioannina, where the Ochi, which is a national day of Greece, was said. Ochi means no, and it was the no that the Greeks and the Prime Minister of the time, Metaxas, had said to the Axis powers when they wanted Greece to surrender. Greece started the resistance against the Axis powers from Kalpaki. Kalpaki is also the gateway to Zagori or Zagorochoria, and that's the region where both sides of my family are from. I loved growing up in the countryside. When I was a kid, not so much, but now looking back at it, I think it was the best childhood ever. Grew up in an environment where you had mountains and forests, and you had fields full of trees. We had apple trees, fig trees, walnut trees, you name it, cherry trees. So it was beautiful to live in a place where throughout the seasons in the year, you'll just walk outside your gardens and you pick up cherries in spring, or you will have figs in about September time, or whatever the season was, we had seasonal fruits. So that it's a memory that it's so important, and I'm so fond of that childhood and that kind of quality of food that I was able to have so easily available to me. My mum is also a really, really good cook. So it was great to have those beautiful big gardens at home. So in the morning, being a housewife for most of her life, she would pick up the fresh vegetables, from tomatoes to courgettes, aubergines, and she'll pick them up in the morning, and then she'll go in the kitchen and start preparing. So it's a whole experience, it's a whole cooking experience that I grew up with, from the growing of those raw organic ingredients at your doorstep, to see them collected or harvested, taken to the kitchen, and your mum will prepare an amazing dish that everybody will enjoy. I was so lucky to grow up in a place that it had the most beautiful childhood. But at the time, as a young teenager, you just want to go away and explore the big cities and explore the whole world. So not only I left Kalpaki and my family home, but I actually moved to England to study. It was when I was in England that my passion and realization of good quality food was really living inside me, because of all these experiences that I had back in Greece, back at home. I couldn't eat student food when I was in England. Most people I knew, they would have baked beans and sausages or ready meals or pot noodles. So I started cooking and experimenting more and more whilst I was in the UK. But I've always been, out of 3 of us, me and my siblings, I've always been the one who had the most interest in cooking, and I would always be the one cooking and helping mum at home. So England gave me the opportunity to explore that hidden passion of mine. Despite having all those amazing cuisines in England, I was really missing some Greek ingredients, some Greek foods that you don't get anywhere else. Oh, you do these days, but back then we couldn't. So every time I went to a supermarket or to a deli, I would look for Greek products, and it was really hard to find any. And my desire to open a Greek deli started back then. But I was pretty young, I was in my early 20s. I was building my career within the marketing area, and I loved it. And just life holds you back sometimes, which is good because it makes your passion grow stronger and stronger. After 13 years in England, I realized that I really missed the Mediterranean sun. I thought it was the best time to actually take some time off and do some traveling. Just before I hit 30, I traveled through the US, but my final destination was always Australia. I just had a good feeling that Australia was going to be the place for me. I love Australia because I think it has a perfect balance between the English order and efficiency and the style and the culture and the beautiful sun of the Mediterranean or of Greece. So for me, it's just the perfect combination. I've always wanted to do something with food. As I mentioned earlier, I wanted to open a deli back in the UK. So it has always been in the back of my mind to do something with food. But again, the one thing that I missed here in Australia when I first arrived was it was very hard to find good quality Greek products. And I realized that more and more every time I came back to Australia from my holidays in Greece. So in my last trip, my passion for all those great, fresh, quality produce that Greece has just grew stronger and stronger. When I returned to Australia from that trip and I went back to my work in marketing, I've just realized that I had lost my passion, and I have discovered my old passion again. Being a real foodie, a real Greek foodie, just made me realize that that's something that I want to put my heart and soul into it. And that's how Grecian Purveyor came to life. So I decided to leave my job after 18 years in marketing and advertising and just put everything into Grecian Purveyor. It took me quite a few months to research to see what there is currently in Australia. And that proved quite hard because there were some good quality products here in Australia, but it was very hard to get access to. And if I had all this trouble finding those products, I'm sure everybody else, all the Australians, shared exactly the same frustration. I also started researching for new products, products that I tried when I was in Greece and I loved, and other products that I thought Australians should actually get to know and try. And that is part of my mission, to bring those beautiful ingredients, great products that I know and all the Greeks know and we love, but Australia's never heard of. Growing up in an area that raw organic produce was so easily available to me and I loved so much when I was a kid, it has really influenced my decision that the products that I wanted to bring here to Australia from Greece had to be as natural and as organic as possible. This was as important to me as high quality flavors, products that they taste as natural, without aromatics, without flavorings, raw quality taste. It's really important to me that those products have some history behind them, the link to the Greek food culture. It's not an easy task finding all those producers and farmers that will share the same values and beliefs with you to produce the highest quality products. However, hard work pays off, and we now collaborate with food artisans. We work directly with some cooperatives and farmers, small independent businesses in Greece, and they do provide us with the best organic produce that they have. Ethically sourced food is really important to us. So everybody within the chain has to get a fair pay, has to have good working conditions, and has respect for the environment and the way they cultivate their produce. Australians are very lucky to have access to some great delis. However, very few have Greek products in them. And especially those who live far away from the metropolitan areas, they have very limited access to high quality gourmet ingredients. So I really wanted to provide access to those people, to those amazing products that we have on offer. I wanted them to try these Greek flavors that I enjoyed since my childhood and do it with an ease of just being at home and going to the computer and order their foods and then being able to indulge in those amazing flavors. We like to provide information with the origins of our products, collaborate with the producers and tell the story to the people. A lot of our products, you can literally source them back to the specific olive grove that your olive oil came from. We like to collaborate with people from all over Australia as well, because we want every Australian to have access to those Greek products. So at the moment we're running a national cooking road trip. So we've already done some collaborations in Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, Brisbane, and we aim to actually reach the whole of Australia. It was so exciting to collaborate with Kali Orexi for the first ever recipe, which was my childhood favorite recipe of quenelle stifado. And I'm so excited to share with you the delicious casciopita recipe from my mum in Ioannina. I feel like an ambassador of Greek gourmet foods in Australia, and I really look forward to see more and more Australians embrace Greek food and Greek food culture.